welcome to Friday's session. Today's session we're going to be focusing on global goal numero 7. So, I'll show you the session plan for today. Hi from Chile. I'm Becca from Team Brave. We're collaborating with the Global Goals World Cup to bring you this education which is designed for educators, coaches, teachers, anyone working with kids to try and do innovative and creative ways to teach the global goals through games and fun activities for kids, because kids and probably everyone learns better when it's fun. So I'm going to take you through what I would do if I was teaching a group of kids today. Apologies for the background noise, we are at our local bakery, so they're the only one that's got signal. So I'll show you the method I use. It's called the high five method. I'm just going to take it into the sun so I think you'll be able to see better. Hi to everyone watching. I imagine we've got some viewers from England, Estonia, Chile maybe, States, Denmark. So thanks for tuning in. So here's the high five method. So it's just a way to keep myself on track when I'm delivering, and also kids will like it because there's kind of consistency and they know what to expect. And they probably like remind you during the session of like, oh, you haven't done the fun warm-up yet or something like that. So there's 5 principles that I'm going to follow. So it's based on my hand, which I drew around to make it, as you can see. So if you haven't tuned into one of these sessions before, it's a little bit different than some of the other sessions that some of the other girls, my very wonderful friends and colleagues, do. So in these sessions, instead of coaching the like players, we have a lot of cats with us right now. Instead of coaching players, we're going to be coaching the coaches, so coaching the teachers and the educators. So I'll show you the 5 principles that we're going to go through. So we're going to start with a fun warm-up always, an energizer to get everyone raring to go. Then we're going to do an individual game because so many of us are in lockdown or quarantine right now. Here in Chile, kids still not allowed outside. I've not trained with a friend since 16th of March. So yeah, individual game for everyone that's still in full lockdown. I know my friends in England, they're now allowed to see a few people at a distance. So we've also got some group ones in case your kids are allowed to see anyone. So you could do it with a group, maybe like their siblings or cousins or something. Then there's a physical challenge each one, just because this is a way of connecting people together across countries. So for example, if you've got friends in different countries, you can set a challenge. So I remember telling you about the challenge last week, which I did with my friends, which was the golden hour challenge. So it was, so I'm just going to put my sunglasses on because it's really sunny. So the golden hour challenge was how far we could run in 1 hour. So it's like a physical challenge that, even though I don't have anyone to train with here because we're in isolation in rural southern Chile, I can compare my Strava times to my friends back in England and also in Chile, but in a different part. So that's been fun. And this week we're doing a half marathon challenge, so I'll be doing that this afternoon, as you do on a Friday. So physical challenge, because we're doing about energy today, so physical challenge today is going to be a cartwheel, just to prepare you to maybe clear some space in your living rooms. Then finally is action for the goal. So if you've watched Clara's sessions, they're awesome. Clara's a lovely girl from Denmark who works for the world's biggest lesson. So she works on how to help people do little actions which can have a big impact about the global goals. So if you watch Clara's session, it's on the Clubhouse website in the archive, and so her sessions correspond to mine. So Clara delivers a thing called the world's biggest to-do list with loads of actions that we can all do. So they kind of complement each other quite well. So those are the 5 things we're going to be getting through in today's session. Okay, so I hope it's a fun Friday for you. Maybe, I think my friend in Germany said they have a long weekend, so hopefully as many people as possible have a long weekend. So I don't think England has a long weekend, but whatever is happening, I hope you have a good one. So we're going to start with the fun warm-up. So because today we're focusing on the clean and affordable energy, so goal 7, so all of the things that we do, we're going to try and relate them back, just so the kids are getting regular input of the same kind of, and all the games and warm-ups are related. So for example, the last session I did with the clean water and sanitation, everything was related to like water bottles and water and hydration, and we talked about all that kind of thing. So even if you're going to bring in some sports science or psychology, depending on the academic level of your kids and their age, try to make it everything applicable. So in the last session, it would have been applicable to talk about hydration. Today it's about clean energy, so I would focus more on the STEM subjects. So if you're not in the pedagogy world, STEM is science, technology, engineering and maths, I think. So I would add some science, some physics and chemistry, which will be music to my dad's ears, as he is a pharmaceutical consultant, so he's going to be delighted that we're going to be adding a little dose of science. So it's something you can do kind of subconscious. The kids won't probably notice that you're adding science, especially if they're young, and they'll probably be really excited, because kids normally get excited about everything, as do I, which is why I spend my days with them. Here we have the warm-up. So this is what you're going to need to do. If you've got some paper, then you need to cut it into strips, little bits of paper. So just divide if you tear it into maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe like 10 bits of paper. And then with a pencil or a felt tip pen, you're going to write all the different forms of energy that you can think of. So for example, I've given you quite a few there, but let's see if you can do it yourselves. If not, then I will unleash the answers. Obviously I don't know everything, so I left a few spaces in case anyone who is watching is like an expert in the energy industry, and then it will be really helpful if you could like write any like latest innovations or new forms of energy, because we remember from my GCSE science and from watching Clara. So there you go. So that's what you're going to need, and you're going to be needing those words for not only the warm-up but also the game and the group game. So it's worth, if you've got a quick like maybe 10 seconds just to write those down. If not, then you can just kind of follow me as I do it. So the words, you're going to divide them between, and I would recommend colour coding for visual learners like me. So colour coded. So here I've got the purple ones are fossil fuels. So you need to explain to kids what is a fossil fuel. So it's a fuel that's got one use. So for example, like oil or coal, or once you've excavated and used it, then you're going to have to wait, like, I'm not exactly sure how many thousands of years, but like bearing in mind the fossils is like the time of the dinosaurs, so it's going to be a long time before you can reuse that. So make them classified as maybe purple. So you got your fossil fuels. Then the orange and blue here, you can see here I've put like renewable ones. So these, now I'm giving you the answers, you're lucky. So wave, biomass, wind, solar. I put hydrostatic. I'm not 100% sure if that is the correct term. I was thinking like when there's a dam in the river and that kind of thing. But if anyone is an expert watching, if they could just confirm that hydrostatic is correct. I'm pretty sure that's the right one. Here we don't have internet signal, so it was difficult for me to check this morning if I'd got the correct terminology. I've also left a gap in case anyone wants to feedback. I personally have a few friends that work in the energy industry, so if they're watching, now is a great time to share your expertise with the world. So yeah, those are the two, if you can see the classifications. And then probably maybe if you're working with young kids, they might not be aware of fossil fuels or renewable energy. So in that case, you could do a bit of question and answer or guided discovery learning about like whether the kids thought that you could reuse coal, or whether they think you like a wave every day, the tidal action, is that going to be renewable? Would there be any pollution from waves? Hopefully they will say no, and then you can talk about like why that's so good, and why would that make a difference. So yeah, hopefully that's kind of got a lot of theory in it. So now after that we're going to go, I'm going to probably do all the games in a row just because they flow quite well. So if you just remember, that's the setup, and then I'm going to flow through the games, doing the fun warm-up, the individual game and the group game, because two reasons. One, it's quite cold, and just so it flows better so you can see it all in one go. Okay, so let's give it a go. So all you need for today's session is, did you see in the diagram there's kind of a goal? It doesn't matter if you don't have a goal. I also do not have a goal. So you just need 2 objects. So if you've ever played football at school, you'll know that you just use jumpers for goalposts or anything, bottles. So here I've got a sports bottle and my really nice coffee cup. Thank you, Catherine, if you're watching. The nice present. It's a really cool one. It's like e-coffee cup, so reusable, from bamboo, and I love it. So we're going to make a goal. I think it's better to be away from, so you guys are watching here, so that the sun doesn't block your view. So here we've got the goal. Okay. And then the only other things I've got is like paper and my felt tip pens, a sunshine ball, a frisbee, and my football. So remember I said that you needed to get a piece of paper, so hopefully you've already done that. Okay. So what you guys can do while I do this is just start doing a few toe taps on the ball, like that. Okay. While I just prepare my version of what you've hopefully already done. If you haven't already done it, if you're like madly hunting for paper in your house, then you can do this at the same time. Okay, here's a quick lesson on how to rapidly make cue cards as well. Life skills. Score with your nail. Okay. Voila! Special hi to any kids watching, or if you're a kid and you're watching this on the repeat in the archive, hello, thanks for watching on repeat. In the year, it could be like next year, so I'm talking to kids in the future. Hi kids of year 2021 when you're watching this on the repeats. I hope you guys have been checking out my friend sessions this week, so we've had some really good ones from all the other girls. Okay, so we've got the thing. Right, let's test your memory without looking at my sheet and without Google open. Let's go through. So you need to get ready to type. So we're going for, please name me some fossil fuels. So that's going to be my purple pen. So I need everyone ready to type. You can type and type, it's good multitasking, good for your cognitions. Anyone? Luckily I know them anyway. So we've got coal, oil, gas, and then I'm going to go for some renewable ones. So we've got wave. As a keen surfer, very important one, I love the beach. Wave, wind power, also very important in kite surfing, the wind. Biomass. Anyone know what biomass is? So that's when you collect all your leftover food and compost stuff. So if they burn that, the accumulated energy is biomass, I believe. I always see it on Bristol on the buses where it says like, this bus is fueled by all of your leftover compost. So that's how I knew that. We'll leave it as that for now.
Solar.
Oh yeah, solar. Okay, and if anyone's got any other ones they want to add in, I've got one spare. Okay. Right, so the warm-up. Now this might be hilarious for everyone to watch. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a card, and whatever you draw you need to act out, and I need to be able to guess what you're doing. So imagine I'm watching you. It needs to be such a good impression that I can guess which one you're doing, so I don't want any half-hearted efforts here. So if for example it was wind power, I'm thinking like a wind turbine. This was Goose's suggestion this morning when we were driving. Yeah, so wind power. Can anyone just try, if you watch when I do it, so this is a test of your coordination, so you see how my arms are going in different directions. Okay, so it's good for netballers, rugby players. So look, Okay, if you can't do that, then you can just go forward like you're doing butterfly stroke in swimming, or you can go backwards, or a bit of backstroke. Free swimming class here for everyone. Okay, front crawl. So that's the wind. You could also do like that for a wind, pretending that you're a windmill, or like a bit of, if there's any ballerinas watching, maybe we can do some spins. Okay, so use your imagination. Let's go through the cards. So this is all a bit about creativity, so just got to think on the spot. So put my cards here. Here we have a cat doing a cameo. So, cat lovers of the world, even cats enjoy the Global Goals games. Welcome to the session. See, if that was a dog, they would come and greet me. Cats, so aloof. Okay, so the first one we're going to do an impression of, coal. So I will now attempt to do a coal. So I'm guessing, like coal, you could think of a barbecue for the kids. So you could act out doing a barbecue. So just like, I'm just doing a bit of drumming here, but flipping burgers, or like the odd aubergine. So whatever you've got on your barbecue. If you're in Chile, it would be a like gigantic bit of beef. Okay, so coal, we're acting out a barbecue. Hopefully you're having barbecues this weekend. Next one, oil. So for oil, maybe you can do like using your kitchen oil to like grease your pan if you're doing pancake breakfast this weekend, which I hope I am. And then flipping pancakes, so anything with oil. I'm just imagining the residents of this very small village wondering what I'm doing, acting out pancakes. Gas. Oh, gas, I don't know, like maybe like that. Wave, this is a good one. So wave, I want everyone to have a quick surfing lesson. Okay, so wave. Ready? So I need everyone to be imagining they're on their surfboard. So, okay, you're going to be lying on the front, you're going to paddle, paddle, paddle. Okay, you're going to feel the wave catch you, okay? Keep paddling, and then you're going to, hands on the board, ready? You're going to pop up, okay? And then ride the wave. Okay, so just so you know, I surf what's called goofy, like that. Most people surf this way around. Okay, so we've got a wave, wind, oh yes, so wind, we're going to do some pirouettes. Okay, very graceful. Biomass, tricky one, biomass. So you could do, I mean, if you were doing this in your garden, you could like run and find an apple, for example. Voila! If you're doing it in your house, you can just search for some kind of fruit or veg, okay? If I can hit the tire with this apple, okay, then I will win myself a year's supply of chocolate. Ready? Disaster! No chocolate. Okay, and finishing up, we've got solar. So solar, if you've got sunglasses to hand, sunglasses on. Oh yeah. If you haven't, then you have to put imaginary sunglasses on, and then you're just gonna practice sunbathing or something like that, or be a gigantic sun. Okay, ready? So now we're gonna do quick fire.
Star jumps.
Star jump. Oh yeah, that's a good one. A bit more active as well. Ready? So we're gonna shuffle the cards. You know the moves. Okay, ready? So number one, wave. Okay, so you're gonna be doing your surf move. Do you want to see a recap of that, or is everyone okay with their surfing? Good, next one, wind. I want to see the windmills and the wind turbines and pirouettes. If you're a ballet dancer, now's a good time to do your thing. I am, as you can see, not a ballet dancer, but it's really good for football ballet because it teaches you to be nice and supple. Biomass, go and grab the nearest fruit or veg you can find. Here we've been giving all of our leftover fruit and veg to a street dog we've adopted called Rufus. He's very cute. Okay, so there's all kinds of things you can do with biomass. Solar, I want to see some star jumps. You can either do these easy ones or a huge star. Okay, ready? And again. Okay. Oh no, we said for solar also sunglasses on. Oh yeah. So I imagine the kids will enjoy to feel really cool, especially if you've got a lot of sunglasses out. They always like them. Coal, barbecue time. If you're in Chile, a gigantic bit of beef. If you're in Germany, I remember we had a lot of what do we have? Aubergine, peppers. There's all kinds of barbecue styles going on. Oil, that's the pancake one. Everyone with their pancake branch, oil. Obviously for the warm-up physiology, the more you can like accentuate the movement and lubricate the really accentuate and get all the movements going. Gas, that was the kind of bit of salsa, bachata, belly dancing, whatever you want. And one more time, wave. Let's do a bit of surfing. Ready? So you're down like that. 1, 2, 3. The wave catches you. Pop up, jump. Okay, great. Free surf lesson there. Okay, so now I'll explain the progression of this, so they're all going to flow together. Sorry, it's very bright here. And the volcano has snow on it. So now we go from this bit, where you see act out the types of energy, so I had some ideas here. Now we go to the shooting game. So you're going to reuse your paper. And the principle that we want to get across to the kids is knowing which fuel is renewable and which one's a fossil fuel. So which one's finite and which one's infinite. Okay, so the easy way to do this is to condition the game so that the kids learn it for themselves without you just telling them this is a fossil fuel, this is not a fossil fuel. So that's what we call command style teaching or coaching, where you just tell someone this is that, and no one needs to think for themselves. So the neural pathways are not really enforced as much as they would be if you were thinking for yourself. Okay, so we want to get people thinking for themselves, making their own decision, feeling empowered, and that's from guided discovery learning. So here we go. So if you're doing this as an individual, then you're just going to start with your ball, which is what I'll be doing. You could like go around a tree or go up and down your yoga mat a few times if you're in a small space. Then you go through and you shoot at goal. If you're with a friend, then they could do like a 1-2 pass and then shot. If you have a goalie, obviously it makes it more match realistic. But the main principle is that before you get your ball, you need to turn over a card. And if it's renewable, then you get to go as many times as you want. If it's fossil fuel, you only go once. So then when you make it competitive, like with kids on a Zoom class, if you make it competitive, like, okay, who can score the most goals in 1 minute? If the kid's turned over a fossil fuel, you've only got one shot, you're annoyed. But kind of you want that annoyance, because then you're going to say like, okay, so why are you using coal then? And then the kids will start thinking like, yeah, why are we using so much coal when we could just use wind power or wave power or solar power? So why are we using fuels that just pollute the environment and cause global warming? And kids will probably think this is totally illogical, and that's the kind of thinking we want, so that that generation can hopefully make better choices and make more sustainable energy, and think of new solutions for like a long-term sustainable planet and less pollution. That's the ideal. Okay, so let's play this game. So I hope you've got your goal set up. As I said, you don't need a football goal, you just need something to aim at. If you're not a footballer, doesn't matter, like you could do this with a basketball net, you could do this with a hockey stick. If you're doing this with outdoor sports, you could do it like on a climbing wall, like on a bouldering wall. You could do it in your kayak, on your stand-up paddleboard. It's just the same principle, just like two different options. One is renewable, one's not. And then if you're, for example, I'm a stand-up paddleboard coach, so if I was doing this with stand-up paddleboarding, if it's a renewable one, you can do the race as many times as you want. If it's fossil fuel, then it's finite and do it once. Okay? They're easy to adapt. Okay, ready? Only my. So the first one I've got is wave power. So you're going to ask the kids, is that renewable or not renewable? It is renewable, because obviously the tide keeps coming. So I'm going to go around the swing because it's renewable, I'm going to get as many choice options as many goes as I want. You can set a time limit, like as many as you could do in 10 seconds. Okay, so I managed to score 3 goals so far with that one. So you can get all the kids in the Zoom class or the Meet, whatever they're using, to compete against each other. So next one, gas. So the kids are going to hopefully know by now that that's a fossil fuel. Okay, so just one shot. So I got 1 point there, but I can't go again, so I just got to like wait while the other kids are still going if they were doing it next to me, and the kids are going to get really annoyed, like, it's not fair, why do I not get to go again, etc. Next one, oil, another one timer, so there's a finite one. So when you're doing this, if you want to bring in technical stuff, you could get them doing the rollover, you could do some technical stuff on stepovers, anything you can refer to the Brave training or some of Jackie's sessions like dance with the ball. Okay, so that was another goal for me. Obviously to make it harder you would add a goalkeeper, but I didn't have anyone to be a goalkeeper. Okay, next one, solar. Okay, so that's luckily renewable. If you want to make it harder for more advanced footballers, use a smaller ball. So let's go for solar. And I can go as many times as I want, so I've still got time. So I've got my, let's say 20 second allowance. No! Okay, so but I still get to go again because it's a renewable energy source. Okay, so then that's another 2 points. So then at the end of the game, you're going to add together all your scores to make it more competitive. You could divide, like if I had 2 kids working with me now, you'd divide the pack of cards. So it's just luck of the draw. So one kid might get all the fossil fuels. So let's look. So here we've got, so one kid over here would have wave, gas and wind power. And this kid over here has got solar, coal, oil and biomass. Did anyone come up with another one yet? Nuclear? I wasn't sure where to define nuclear, so I just left it until an expert can inform me. So as you can see here, it's likely, this would probably be okay, but if we took out, so in this situation, this kid is most likely, if they're equal ability in football, this kid's going to win because they've got more renewable ones. You see how it would work? As this kid will lose because they've got maximum 1, 2 and then potentially 3 in 30 seconds. So they might get 5 if they're accurate. And then here we got like 3, 3, 1, so 7. So you can see how you kind of determine, and you could even do this in a small-sided game if you wanted to. Like if you're playing 5-a-side or 7-a-side afterwards, you could then transfer the learning from this into a small-sided game. So you'd say, like, maybe at the start of each play, okay, right, take a card, and maybe the captain or someone comes and they say like, oh, we got wind power, and then maybe that means a condition on the game. So it could be like, okay, so you chose the wind power, so in this game of Energizer football, that means that you guys, if the ball goes out of play, you're going to keep playing anyway. So it's like renewable, or if you have a shot and you miss, you get another chance or something like that. Like, it makes it easier and like just reinforces like renewable, renewable, renewable. Whereas if they got a purple one, which we want to kind of condition them psychologically that that's bad. So if they get oil, you're gonna say, yeah, you're gonna say like, ah, sorry, like if the referee blows his whistle, oil means like you're stuck in oil and then you have to be stuck and you can't move. That's going to cause maybe tears, a lot of anger. Okay, but the whole idea is that the kids will learn much more if they're actually playing these games, and they're going to remember like, oh, it was so frustrating when we couldn't move because we drew oil, or we had coal and we had to do a forfeit because we drew that, like, these bad cards. And then the kids, even if they're like 4 or 5, they'll remember like, oh yeah, we got an orange card, it said solar, so that meant that every time we got the ball, people had to leave us alone and we got to freely dribble down the pitch. So you just want to be conditioning them. And if you're working with older kids or like more advanced learners, then you can include a lot more science from science and technology. Or if you wanted to do like when you're doing like the attacking, you could do more technicalities. Or if you want to do it as a fitness exercise, you could do a bit about sprinting or use it as pre-season training, so do a lot more running. And then you could talk to them about training zones, heart rates. There's so much you could do depending on what you are looking for. Like if you want a lot of sports science, then you can adapt it that way. Okay. Okay, so I think we've nearly done most of the session here. Thanks for being here today. So we've done the fun warm-up, remember, acting out the surfing and the wind turbines with a few pirouettes, individual game and the group game, like tied together. So now we've got the physical challenge and then action for the goal. So physical challenge today, cartwheeling. So we've done this before in both the Brave challenges that we did at the start of lockdown. So that was in March, April, feels like 10 years ago, but it was actually 2 months. So you can, if you want to see the basics of a cartwheel, then you can also just check it's a quick video and it's on our Brave YouTube and also on our Instagram. Or just, I'm sure maybe any of your friends might know how to do a cartwheel. And so we'll do that. We're going to see how many cartwheels you can do in a row. Might get dizzy. And then we'll do the action for the goal, and then it's the weekend. Okay, sunglasses off. It's means business. Okay, so I'm going to look for a relatively dry spot of grass. Okay, so I favour, when I'm doing a cartwheel, my right hand down first because my right arm is stronger. Okay, you might want to warm up your wrists before you try so you don't get any wrist injuries. Okay, so ready? So you are going to rock back to get some momentum, then plant the hand. I go right hand down first, and then flick your legs over. So our nieces here in Chile would correct you. If your feet land at the same time, that is a handspring. If they land at different times, that is a cartwheel. And the kids are very, very sure about the difference. So if I ever mess it up, they'll be sure to tell me I've not done a cartwheel. Ready? So let's go cartwheeling. So that one was a cartwheel because you saw that my feet landed at different times. Okay, I'm going to try and pronounce my kin's comment. Vegermola. Danish is not my strong point. Vegermola. I don't know. Okay. So I'll just show you, just for FYI, the handspring. So I'm going to try and snap my legs round so that I'm landing with both at the same time. Ready? Okay. If I was an actual gymnast, then you would like start with like a presentation and finish in like an elegant way. Okay, ready? Okay, so which one was that? Handspring or cartwheel or Vegermola in Danish? Sorry to all the Danish people for the insult on your language with my terrible pronunciation. Right, let's see if this one is a cartwheel or a handspring. Which one? Okay, so I hope you're all having a go at that. I'm going to try now on my other hand, just for my own personal interest, to see if I can. This might end in tears and a broken wrist, but let's try. So, I can't even think about it the other way. So, like that, hand down. Okay. So this won't be as good, so I haven't done it this way before. I think I still put my other hand down. Hey, cameraman's laughing. I want to see you try do it with your left hand. It's really hard with your hand. Okay, I'm going to practice that. Right, let's give you a good right-handed one. Finish. Okay, and now the challenge, the International Friday Challenge of seeing how many we can do in a row. So I am personally going to, with this space and my gymnastic capacity, going to aim for 3 in a row. Okay, go 4. Quite busy now. Yeah, 4. Over and out. Everything's spinning. Okay, so that's all of the physical stuff. Hopefully you've managed that cartwheel challenge. So just the action for the goals we need to finish. So I'm going to add these in. So I've put 7 bullet points today. Normally I do 3, but I thought this one's there's so many types of energy, it's quite easy one to think of. Oh, another thing which we haven't talked about is a kid's question, because if you're doing this in a PE lesson or a sports science class, you need to apply it to sports science, obviously. So you could say, like, which sports also require these energies? So I was thinking, I do kite surfing. I'm just a beginner, but I really love it. So in that case, you need wind energy. So it's quite a frustrating sport because it's so weather dependent. You have to look at the trees, see when the wind is moving, and if it's in the right direction, if it's the right one for your kite, because if your kite's too big, you might end up on the other side of the Pacific in New Zealand, or like all these factors. So you can apply it to PE. Waves, obviously, for surfing. Solar. Think of a sport that requires the sun.
Well, there's a solar race, a car solar race.
Is there? So yeah, or like, obviously it's quite nice to play in the sun. Wimbledon tennis, for example, it's always good when it's sunny. So yeah, just walking on coal you could talk about with the kids. So action for the goal. So turn off your light switches. You do not need your lights on at night. You don't need your lights on if you go out. Like, you just can turn everything off. Obviously, maybe you want to keep one on for security. So turn off your light switches. Next action, we've got to get to 7. So the quicker you do this, the quicker you get to have your weekend, and the quicker you get to have dinner or lunch, depending on where you're watching from. So turn off light switches. What could we do? Oh, so you could switch to a greener energy provider. Okay, one that harnesses the wind power or the solar power. There's a movie actually. You can watch a movie called, I think it's called The Boy That Harnessed the Wind or something. That's a good one. And you should also check out Little Suns, which is a really awesome company that give kids in developing countries these kind of solar powered mini lights so that the kids have access to light. So big shout out to Little Suns for the amazing little cool lights for the kids. I would actually like one as well. So I'm going to try and buy one because they're really cool. So check out Little Suns. Oh, that can be an action actually. Check out Little Suns. Is anyone going to help me on this, or am I just going solo on this mission?
Ellen, sunbathing is a sport.
Thank you, Ellen. Yeah, okay. Well, Ellen, just for you, we're going to pack. Oh, we have a cat here. We're going to put in for an action. Sunbathe. Well, it will make you happy, and for vitamin D. Well, we have had, so far in this series, we've had 2 visiting dogs, and now we have a cat. Vitamin D. Just make yourself at home here. Hello. Why do cats always not realise when they're so unwelcome? Right, we've got turn off light switches, greener energy providers, check out Little Sun's website, sunbathe for vitamin D and happiness. And vitamin D is really good for like immune systems. So in this time, we all need our good immune system. So fruit and vegetables. Just loving the session plan. And vitamin D is good. It's actually quite a cute cat. Normally, not that cute. Okay, we've got. Excuse me. All his paws have messed up. We've got 3 3 more goals. Ellen, come on. You can think of 3 more. Goose, come on.
Using an electric car.
Yeah. Excuse me, do you mind moving? Electric car. Oh, I've got one, Goose. Goose loves cycling. Goose loves cycling so much, like he'll just love to come cycling with me. So let's do a SMART targets, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time orientated, Goose. So you must go for a bike ride once a week instead of using
once
your car.
a year.
I'm just going to draw a bike because it's a nice form of energy. And
Bike instead of driving.
oh, great minds think alike. Can I just say, Copenhagen, congratulations Copenhagen, because your city is so amazing. When we visited, they have bike lanes, there are bike traffic lights, everyone is going by bike, there's more bikes than cars, there was bike traffic jams. So congratulations Denmark and Copenhagen for all your cycling. And Freiburg is also good. Bristol is improving. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one more, come on team. It's nearly the weekend, we've got one more goal.
Heating up the water with the sun.
Oh, like our hot tub. Yeah, so we are in Chile, we have our log cabin and we've got a hot, kind of like a jacuzzi hot tub, tinaja it's called, and we're going to use the rain to fill it up, mainly because we don't have a tap, so we don't have any other way to get it in there. So rainwater, and then we're going to use the roof of our log cabin, and we're going to use also the solar energy to heat the water. So yeah, it's going to hopefully be a good example. So I'll put reuse rain and sun energy. Okay, and what we'd like to see, if anyone's got good imagination and creativity, then what we'd like, I personally would love to hear your innovative ideas. So what you could do is, if you press share on this video, hola Rafael, casi terminando, press share on the video, and then on your Facebook wall, you could share it with your friends, and then the idea would be like to stimulate a discussion of thinking of cool ideas. And this morning I have come up with my master plan, which will, well, I always come up with inventions, but this one is related to energy. Step 1, okay, on my bike I could fit some kind of device which will transform the cycling I do, which is, by the way, a lot. Also my trainers, and we're going to transform all of that GCSE physics into potential energy, which is stored. Then I will remove this device, and this device I will then like plug in somewhere, and it will be used to like power my phone, or like recharge our fridge, or like some light, something like that. So this, can we patent this, anyone that's watching? So patenting that. And then my developed idea, which is slightly more complex, is I get really bored on planes and trains and buses. So can we get some pedals going on in the plane, and then I can just be pedaling away for like 12 hours, and all my pedaling could generate like a dynamo, which will then be used to power my light switch so I can read and pedal. I think it's perfect, and I think if Virgin, British Airways, Iberia, if anyone's watching now, please can we have exercise bikes on planes? It's obvious. Instead of seats, exercise bikes, and we can all read and power the plane. It will be a good incentive for people, I think. Like, if you don't pedal, the plane is not going anywhere. So this is my 2 patents that I would like to suggest. If you've got any more inspired ideas, please write them in this list of, like in the comment section, so then we can have some really cool ideas, because I know if there's kids out there, they've got brilliant brains and imagination, and they don't let anyone hold their ideas back. So please unleash your kids' imagination, and let's think of some really cool ways. We've got a lot of Chilean people coming incredulously looking at me now, so we're going to finish the session, and I hope you had a good one and have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you next week. Monday is my Spanish session, which is brave training, like just football technical skills, and then we've got, so goal 8 will be on Wednesday and goal 9 will be on Friday, and you can also check out Clara's sessions, Jackie's sessions, Dee's sessions, Ella and Babette, and the discussions. There's so much going on, so it's all in the Global Goals World Cup /Clubhouse. So, and you can also watch repeats and archives. You could just spend your whole day on the Clubhouse. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and have a good weekend. Bye.